Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WRC. We are live here, 10 a.m. UK time, for our first social race of the day. My name is Jack. I'm your commentator. A pleasure to be bringing you the action this morning. Welcome to everyone in the Twitch and in the TikTok. We've got Noah, Butcher, Brands, CB, Solar, Scooters, all active in the Twitch chat. We have got Karate, MN7, Jack Plays, Mackie, VB, The Washed Half, Paddy, all in the TikTok chat as well. Best Noah in the chat saying he defo just woke up. It was about an hour ago that I woke up. Got out of bed about 20 minutes ago. And we are now live for some racing action. Welcome in, everybody. An early start here in WRC. But what would you rather do at 10 in the morning when you could be sleeping, doing nothing? Why not have some racing action? And I'm sure this is going to be a brilliant race. Kota, always one of those tracks that provides great racing. Last time we were here, we saw one of the most infamous battles in WRC history between Solar and Best Noah. Paddy's saying, are you doing all the races today since JC can't? I'm not doing all the races today. I'm doing a lot of them. I believe Garrison is doing the 12 p.m. race. He's one of our new commentators, so make sure you go and show him some love. I'm doing, right now, obviously, I'm doing 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10 p.m. UK time. So definitely a lot of commentary coming your way, especially from myself. So hopefully you enjoy my commentary, because if not, you're going to have a pretty poor day. That is for sure. Noah saying I should have raced today. You most certainly should have, Noah. But to be fair, we all do need a day off. And I think you deserve some time off after winning your first Drivers' World Championship yesterday in the F2 division. If anyone deserves a bit of time off, it is definitely you. Humble Rise saying, yo, JP, watched you in Abu Dhabi yesterday. It was a great race. It was a very fun race. Me and actually Best Noah had a really good fight in Abu Dhabi. That was very, very fun. As Evangelos is saying, JP, I need to restart the game. No problem, Evangelos. As Jack Plays then makes his way onto his first lap, and the first flying lap of this session, the Mercedes driver dips down the hill and into the S's then. You can see the big Ferris wheel in the background. As through the S's we go then with the Mercedes. And he has invalidated this lap then through the S's. So won't be a valid lap time for Jack Plays. You can see in the background the massive, what is that? Is that even, is it a roller coaster that you see coming up towards, I believe it's turn 2? I want to say it's a roller coaster. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like a lighthouse, to be completely honest. But through turn 1 then comes Ahmed Saka, Jack Plays' teammate. Who have we got out on laps? So we've got Jack Plays. Then behind him, I believe we've got one of the Williams, who must be on an out lap. It's then an Aston Martin. It could be Luke M. It is Luke M then, who is looking to try and set the first flying lap in this session. Humble saying, after hearing you being a Max fan, I was not expecting you to be in a Merc. To be honest, I don't mind being in any car when I'm driving. Obviously, it's equal performance, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not a big fan of certain cars. I just have certain things against certain cars for some reason. I don't like the Cadillac, probably just because it's new. I'm just not a fan of driving the car for some reason. I'm a bit picky when it comes to what cars I drive. The Mercedes, actually one of my favorites, to be completely honest. Luke M goes to the top then. First lap of the session, a 1 minute 33.9. Not Brownie beats that with a 1 minute 33.3. Karate saying, I'm staying in till it's a quieter track, and that is probably a good shout. Don't want to get held up by any traffic. Wood Butcher goes into third with a 36.2 for the Red Bull driver. We've got QDR Edward, who we know is very, very quick. Actually beat Solar yesterday at Abu Dhabi. Brand's saying bit of a hot take, but I'm like that with the McLaren. Too much orange. I'm honestly the same. I'm not a big fan of the McLaren. I'm not a big fan of the Cadillac. really the only cars I drive, to be honest, are the Mercedes, the V-Carb, sometimes the Alpine, and the Red Bull. That's about it, really. QDR Edward, then, it's a 33-1 for the Alpine driver. He goes to the top of the timesheets. We've got Stu, who's invalidated his lap. Jack is just coming through the final sector now, then. Butcher saying he locked up in every braking zone. And the lap time would reflect a few mistakes from the Red Bull driver. No offense, Butcher. I don't mean that in an offensive way. There's Karate saying, come on, QDR, he's my teammate. Currently at the top of the timesheets. Bobby Lyons, though, smashes that time. The first man into the 1 minute 32s. And Bobby Lyons snatches provisional pole position away from QDR Edward. We've got Humboldt coming through the first sector. Top Fox coming through the S's as well. Mr. Smith down the back straight. AERT Ollie. That's a bit of a mouthful. Coming through the penultimate corner now. And now to the final corner comes the V-Carb driver. Little bit of a tank slapper on the rear end. Goes into P2 though. And is only 5 milliseconds away from Bobby Lyons. So very close between Ollie and Bobby then. Mr. Smith looking to try and get himself involved as well. Currently in P20, but has not set a lap time yet. That will change unless he invalidates through the final couple of corners. Car looking very stable through the penultimate corner. It's been a while since I've seen a car that looks that planted on the road. And Mr. Smith does go to the top of the timesheets. It reflects what we saw, especially through that penultimate corner. No sign of a snap whatsoever. The car looking completely stuck to the road and very, very quick. Mr. Smith to the top of the timesheets then. 11 minutes left in this qualifying session. Top Fox goes into 10th place. We've got Nop Kiki just coming around the final corner and goes to provisional pole with a 1 minute 32.7. So some new names trying to take the spotlight then in WRC. Jay Whitby saying, in work, my boss MCL told me to put it on. Get in there, MCL. Good stuff, my friend. Welcome in. Hope you are all good and having a good morning. Doesn't matter if you're at work. Who needs to work when you've got a WRC social race on, eh? Much more important things in the world. More en route, says MCL. Absolutely brilliant stuff. That's what we love to hear, MCL. Thank you very much, my friend. It's been great to see you back racing, MCL. Really happy to see you back. Humbled into the middle sector. Going to be into the final sector now. It's a 1 minute 2.7 middle sector split for the McLaren driver. Is through the triple apex then comes Humbled. Needs to try and keep this on track. Evangelos, what is your EA name, my friend? I'm more than happy to invite you. I'm not sure what your EA name is, though. Is it Greco Theo by any chance? As Humbled comes up to 10th place, then we will quickly get Greco back in the lobby. There we go. We've got F1 Mikey Boy then out on a lap. He's just coming to the final corner. Mikey goes into P9 with a 1 minute 33.7. And that really does show the pace of the new guys that are joining WRC. F1 Mikey Boy, normally one of the big hitters in this league. The league owner enjoyed many, many returns of success in this league. Currently sat in P9. Although saying that, the gaps are very, very close. It's not like he's a mile off, per se. Few more people on outlaps then. We've got Humbled, who looks like he's coming into the pits. Luke M is on a lap, so we'll stick with the Aston Martin driver earlier. Said he feels like the Aston Martin is realistic. And that cannot be a good thing, because that Aston Martin in real life is definitely not the best car in Formula 1. I can tell you that much for free. Luke M down the back straight then. The Aston Martin pushing on is going to run out of battery as he gets down this back straight. But not to worry, the braking zone comes up quickly. You will recharge a little bit, using battery everywhere he can in the pursuit of lap time. He's 2.5 tenths up, a quarter of a second up on this lap time then. The Aston Martin driver, this could be a lap that takes him all the way to about P8, which is currently where his teammate CB is sat. Evangelos saying, JP, I need to start at the back. I can't join in my position. No, you retired from the session when you left, Evangelos. You will be starting from 21st. As Luke M then, around the final corner. Looks like it's going to be improvement. It's 3.5 tenths of improvement. It does take him to P8, just ahead of his teammate. And I say it in about every stream that I do. I'm sure you guys are sick of it now. But rule number 1 of Formula 1 is beat your teammate. And Luke M doing exactly that at the moment. Stu just coming to the triple apex in his Haas car for his first lap time in this session. The Haas looking and sounding a little bit unstable. As through the final corner we go then, really having to put some lock into the car. Goes P17 with a 1 minute 36.6. We've got Brody King coming down the back straight now then. Ferrari driver looking to try and set a lap time. Not going to be hard to beat his teammate, who is in 18th and retired from the session. The Cadillac gets out of the way then as QDR Edward now goes to the top of the timesheets with a 1 minute 32.6. Mr. Smith just starting his lap. We've got Not Kiki on an out lap. We've got Bobby Lyons coming through the S's now then, as Ahmed Saka retires from the session. That looks like an on-track retirement. Doesn't look like he's had a crash. As here comes Bobby Lyons then, down towards the back straight. Was on provisional pole. That was immediately snatched away by Mr. Smith and then by Kiki. Edward now gone to the top of the timesheets here in qualifying. But Bobby Lyons looking to try and take that back once more. That was one of the Audis getting all out of shape. That would have been Ryan to start on his lap. Bobby Lyons is up on their lap then. A little bit wide of the apex there, but might provide them with some better grip. As into the triple apex we go. Very tight line for the Williams driver. Penultimate corner we go then. The car holding on to whatever Bobby throws at it through the final corner. Can the Williams get back onto provisional pole? Yes, it can. By nearly 0.3 of a second. Bobby Lyons now on provisional pole then. What about Mr. Smith as he comes towards the final couple of corners, riding it up against the track limits and invalidates to the final corner. It was a 32.651. It would have put him in second place, but not good enough for pole position. Kiki needs a good final sector here and is having a little bit of a moment on the rear end as we make our way to the triple apex. Got some traffic to go through as well. One of the Haas cars could be in the way here, giving some dirty air. They both get out of the way, but will that have affected the Cadillac's lap in any way, shape or form? Kiki comes to the line. It did not affect them at all. By 20 thousandths of a second, Kiki back on provisional pole then. Mr. Smith and Ollie will try and fight that back. Ollie's coming into the pit lane. He's done a 32.8. Not Brownie giving a little bit of a slipstream to his teammate. It would look like his teammate being humbled, who is coming in to the final sector now. Is there improvement in the first two sectors of the lap? He's 12 milliseconds down. So Humboldt needs a good final sector if he is to try and get ahead of F1 Mikey Boy, that is currently the driver ahead of him in this qualifying session. CB saying someone came out of the pit, cut two of us up on a lap right onto the racing line. The stewards will look at that if you've got a video recording of it, CB. Don't you worry. As Humboldt comes across the line then and does improve. It was a great final sector from Humboldt. Gets ahead of both of the Aston Martins and the Red Bull as Ryan De Star and Top Fox have set the exact same lap time in this session. Top Fox 13th because he set the lap time first, but it is very rare that you see that in F1 League racing. Humboldt will be coming into the pit lane. We've got 3 minutes left then of this qualifying session. I'm sure we will see everyone back out on the track for at least one more lap. F1 Mikey Boy, what can he do? Currently sat in 12th place. Definitely wants to be higher than 12th on the grid. If F1 Mikey Boy started in 12th, I think that would be the lowest I've ever commentated this man start from, apart from when he's intentionally doing a last to first challenge. So definitely not the session that Mikey would have wanted so far. But realistically, the only laps that matter are the final ones. They are going to decide the final positions in this session. As weaving down the back straight is Mikey to get some temperature into those tyres. Humboldt, I'm not sure if he'll be coming into the pit lane or staying out to do another lap on those tyres. Mikey just coming to the final couple of corners. Butcher will be the first man to go on his latest lap. Humboldt is going for another lap then. So we'll stick with the McLaren driver, who will be the first man to complete his final lap in this session. 1 minute and 30 seconds left of qualifying. So this is crunch time then for all the drivers. We've got everyone out there besides Jack Plays, Ahmed Saka and Greco Theo. Everyone else on lap times. Humboldt has invalidated his lap, so definitely not the best way to start for him. What of F1 Mikey Boy then? A world champion in WRC, looking to prove that he can hang with the big boys. It almost reminds me of that scene in Cars 3, where Jackson Storm goes past Lightning McQueen, and McQueen is fading fast. Is F1 Mikey Boy fading compared to the newer drivers in WRC, the likes of Kiki, Bobby, Edward, Mr. Smith and Ollie? Or can Mikey prove that he is here to stay with the big hitters? He was up in the first sector. He makes his way down the back straight, burning the battery, saving some for the final sector as we get into the hairpin. What is the sector 2 split going to be? He is just nearly 2 tenths up as we get into the final sector with the Red Bull driver. It is going to be improvement, but is it going to be the improvement that F1 Mikey Boy needs to crack himself into the top 10? At this point of the lap, the tyres will be overheating, just like they've come out of a toaster. As Mikey round the penultimate corner then, now to the final corner for the Red Bull driver. Qualifying is over. This is the lap that's going to matter for the Red Bull. He goes into P7, gets into the top 10. Edward out of the final corner, exceeding the track limits, but takes provisional pole. ARET Ollie is in the wall and will not get a better lap time. He will start a best of 5th. Mr. Smith coming through the final sector. Kiki entering the middle sector. Bobby Lyons coming to the end of the middle sector. It's Mr. Smith then. Through the triple apex he goes. He will be the first man to try and challenge Edward. Currently has a 32.0. Does Edward. Mr. Smith a little bit wide through the penultimate corner. Has to chuck the car in a few times to get it turned in. Mr. Smith improves by 39 milliseconds. Rylan now goes to 4th. So what about Bobby Lyons then? Through the final corner comes the Williams driver. Can he try and improve? Yes, he can. The first man into the 1 minute 31s. And Bobby Lyons onto provisional pole position. Is there anything that Kiki can do about it? The Cadillac driver, the last of the big hitters to take to the line, cannot improve position, improves time, but stays 3rd in this session. CB crosses the line and can't improve. Wood Butcher has invalidated. So that is your qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Lyons on pole position. It's Edward in 2nd place with Kiki in 3rd. Rylan will line up 4th. Great last gasp lap from Rylan. Mr. Smith 5th with Ollie in 6th place. Not Brownie lines up in 7th. What a qualifying session that is, ladies and gentlemen. Big names out the front, close gaps between all the drivers. 81 thousandths separates first and second, ladies and gentlemen. A great start to the morning. What a qualifying session, but do not go anywhere as the Texan Grand Prix is up next. Onto the formation lap we go then, ladies and gentlemen, here in Texas, ahead of what is going to be a brilliant Grand Prix. We've got many big hitters in this race. The only man on the hard compound tyres, F1 Mikey Boy, who looks to have been hit by Luke M, and they are both disqualified from the formation lap. So Mikey, I doubt, is going to get a very good getaway. It's a long way to turn one as well on cold, hard compound tyres. Definitely watch for the start of Ahmed Saka and Humbled, who could be taking the places into turn one. Turn one pinches up very, very quickly and very tightly. So make sure you keep your eyes on turn one. There could be lots of contact, lots of overtakes. But either way, it is going to be a very good start and a very good Texan Grand Prix. You can see everyone weaving down the back straight, trying to warm those tyres up. Don't want to overheat them, though. You kind of want them to look like toasted marshmallows rather than, you know, people trying to light them over a campfire and they accidentally set the damn things on fire. That's not what you want on the formation lap. Humble saying, you know, without solar here, the quali is closer. Adam asking, how do I join? I will paste the link to our website in the TikTok chat. If you are looking to join, copy and paste that link into your web browser, sign in with your Discord, and get yourself in the session. Edward and Kiki have also been disqualified from the formation lap, as have Butcher, Alka, FPS, as Lions now going backwards. What is Lions doing here? Disqualifies himself from the formation lap. And we are ready then to see the lights ahead of the drivers here in Texas. We just await Jack Plays. Oh, is that Jack Plays? No, it's Ahmed Saka. And I believe CB to line up at the back of the grid then. And we will get underway here for the Texan Grand Prix. The engines roar to life then in this morning in Texas. It's 5 road lights ahead of the drivers. And we can go racing for the Texan Grand Prix. It's a good start for Bobby Lyons. Edward looking to challenge into turn one, though. It's to the inside. Goes the Alpine driver, switches early and gets the move done. Bobby Lyons down into second place. We've had contact. An F1 Mikey boy is one of the drivers at the back. Greco Theo with a poor start. We had one of the Alpines in the wall as well, jumping over the gravel like a kangaroo, as we've got more drivers off at the back as well. Top Fox into the gravel with some big damage to the front wing. But out in front, it's Edward that leads the Texan Grand Prix. Bobby Lyons in second place. Kiki running in third. And look at the Cadillac challenging away as down the inside goes Bobby Lyons on Edward. Edward going to get forced off the road here. Rejoins ahead of the Williams driver, but is going to have to give that position back. Kiki down the inside though, and the Cadillac driver now leads here in Texas. But look at Bobby using the battery into the hairpin we go. Down the inside, Kiki going to look for the switchback and gets the better exit, but it's the track position for the Williams driver. And Bobby Lyons scrapping away early on with Kiki then. As into the final sector we go, it's Bobby Lyons as the position, but for how much longer? Because Kiki is scrapping away to the triple apex we go. Bobby Lyons does lead then. Edward had to give that position back after being forced off the road, and unfortunately for him, dropped another position as well to Kiki as we end lap 1 of 28. Bobby Lyons leads the Texan Grand Prix. It's Kiki in second place. QDR Edward in third. Mr. Smith runs fourth as down the inside. At turn 1 goes Kiki and takes the lead here in Texas. Late and lovely move for Kiki as they take the lead here in Texas. Bobby Lyons lines up in second then and will chase down Kiki for the lead of the Grand Prix. The Cadillac driver looking very, very racy in the early stages of this race. It's Bobby in second. We've got a yellow flag at the back, and that is for Prime Crypt, who has had a bit of a moment and has no front wing, yet elects not to come into the pit lane as Bobby Lyons diving out the slipstream. Look at Kiki though on the switchback, saw the move coming and immediately takes the position back again. Bobby Lyons in second place in the slipstream is gaining towards the rear end of the Cadillac though. Looking towards the inside line later on the brakes. Locks up though. And Kiki once again with the switchback. Bobby getting very, very aggressive as there's contact between the Cadillac and the Williams. Kiki gets all out of shape and through goes Edward. To the outside line, now goes the Alpine driver. It's Bobby that leads this race. Kiki and Edward now fighting away for second. Mr. Smith in fourth place. Ollie trying to challenge the Audi drivers through the triple apex and down the inside goes Ollie on the Audi. The Audi gonna be forced off the road, and when Mr. Smith rejoins, he finds himself in fifth place. But out in front then, it's Bobby Lyons that leads this race, is getting very, very aggressive in the early going of this Grand Prix. Is down the inside. Looks Kiki. It was a late move by the Cadillac, who gets all out of shape. And look at Edward in the background, but Kiki wheel to wheel and they're off the road. Bobby Lyons and Kiki make contact. Somehow neither of them go round. Bobby and Kiki, they don't keep it on the road, but they keep it in a straight line, and somehow they are still the top two. That got very, very close between the Cadillac and the Williams. Too close, some might argue. And we are very lucky that wasn't an airplane crash in towards the S's. It's Bobby Lyons that leads. Kiki getting all out of shape. And the Cadillac driver pushing on in the early going of this Grand Prix, chasing down the Williams. But unfortunately, the rear tyres just can't hold on to what is being asked of them, as Kiki looked towards the inside line, wasn't close enough to make a move. Mr. Smith and Ollie still scrapping away. It's the Audi driver that holds on to fourth at the moment. As we make our way through the final sector, is Kiki going to look for a little bit of a dive bomb, decides against that particular move, and will stick in behind the Williams for the time being. This is a great scrap for the podium positions. Garrison in the chat saying absolute scrap for the podium. I couldn't agree more. This is getting very, very spicy in the opening phases of the Texan Grand Prix. Luke gets ahead of Ryan the Star and into 10th. Mikey on the comeback after being spun round at turn 1. Currently in 13th place. The only man to start on the hard compound tyres You would expect those to start coming to life in the next few laps, and Mikey, I'm sure, will be determined to try and get himself back into the top 10. It's Bobby Lyons that leads here in Texas then. Kiki in second place. QDR Edward in third with Mr. Smith in fourth. We've got Lily in the chat. Good morning, Lily. Welcome to the stream. Hope you had a nice rest and you're ready to start your morning with some WRC racing action, because this has been an incredible race so far. The three top drivers fighting away very, very hard for the Grand Prix lead. And Kiki is still right on the back of Bobby with the overtake boost in the slipstream as well. A lot of people trying to vouch for Kiki to win this race, and Bobby has ran out of battery, switches late to the inside line. Here comes Kiki then towards the outside, looking for the switchback. Who's got the better grip? Looks like the Cadillac. As into the final sector we go. Switchback once again favoured for Kiki. Little bit of contact between them. Kiki goes off the road. Edward not close enough to take advantage, but Kiki really struggling with the grip for the Cadillac then. We've seen many moments where Kiki, the rear end, just does not want to hold on. And the Cadillac driver gonna have to be very, very careful in trying to attack us. To the final corner we go. Bobby was not expecting it, and Kiki is through into the lead of the Texan Grand Prix. Mr. Smith gets the fastest lap of the race as here comes Bobby towards turn one, dives out of the slipstream towards the inside. There's contact between them and Bobby takes the lead as Kiki once again gets out of shape, and the Cadillac driver must have a very aggressive setup on, or is just getting very trigger happy on the throttle, because the Cadillac has been sideways more time than it's been straight. And one of my favourite quotes in Formula 1 by, I believe, Martin Brundle: if the car's going sideways, it's not going forward. And always in a Formula 1 car, you want to be going forward. As we've got a yellow flag, and that was Brody King that has had a moment down at turn one and has got a little bit of damage, as well as Kiki does take the lead then. Bobby Lyons scrapping away. Edward also involved in the fight as well. Mr. Smith in the background too, as towards the hairpin we go. Kiki is your leader. Bobby Lyons throwing it down the inside. A massive lockup and runs straight off the road. And when he rejoins, he's into the path of the Cadillac. Can Bobby try and keep second place? Edward has the inside line. They're three abreast into the next left-hander. It's Kiki that leads. Edward looking for the switcheroo though. What a fight this is in the early going of this race. It's Kiki that leads. Bobby somehow holds on to second. Edward is into third place. Mr. Smith fourth. And this is very close racing as Bobby now at the final corner ducks out of the slipstream. Bobby and Kiki trading blows like heavyweight boxers, says Humble, and it is exactly that as they're wheel to wheel into turn one. Who's later on the brakes? It's Bobby with the inside line. Kiki not able to fight it, and Bobby into the lead then of the Texan Grand Prix. These three scrapping away very, very closely. What an opening phase to this Texan Grand Prix. Definitely one of the better opening phases of a Grand Prix that I have ever seen. The top three, absolutely nothing between them, fighting away in this race. And it's Bobby that is out in front at the moment. Kiki in second place. Edward in third as Kiki then in the Cadillac looks towards the inside line. Mr. Smith challenging Edward in behind. Kiki gets a little bit deep and Bobby Lyons is going to get the better exit. Has the overtake boost as well as here comes the Williams then. Towards the hairpin we go. Williams versus Cadillac. Edward getting involved as well as there's contact in a straight line. Bobby throws it down the inside, and this is getting very, very aggressive now from the top three as Edward tries to get himself involved too, as Edward is round. The Alpine driver, I believe it was contact with the Cadillac, and one of our front runners is immediately round as Kiki and Bobby are also into the gravel as well. What is going on here in Texas? The top three have been getting very, very aggressive with each other. There has been nothing between them, And they have been so close, but contact, lap 6 is where it all implodes between the leaders. It's Rylan that now leads the Texan Grand Prix from Mr. Smith in second place. We've still got Kiki and Bobby fighting away in the first sector as Ollie gets passed by CB into turn 1. Lap 6 implodes, and it's now Rylan that leads this race. Mr. Smith in second with Brownie in third. Brownie with, I believe, a 3-second penalty. What is going on here in Texas this morning? It's a 10 a.m. race start here in the UK. I was expecting it to be a bit of a chilled one with everyone half asleep at the wheel, but it does not look like that. Everyone's been drinking their Red Bull and their coffee, it would seem. Insane action in the early going of this race, and it is Rylan that leads then here in Texas. Mr. Smith in second, not Brownie third with CB in fourth place. Ollie runs fifth with Humboldt in sixth. Edward now seventh with Bobby Lyons in eighth. Kiki down to 11th place. This is absolutely insane. Someone said they were trading blows like heavyweight boxers. Well, it looks like all three of them have been knocked out at the same time. Rylan in the lead then, but Mr. Smith right in behind. Rylan has been one of the most impressive drivers that I have seen in WRC in the last few days, and could be looking to try and take a first Grand Prix victory in this race, but is still under pressure from a massive gaggle of drivers. We've got 20 laps to go here in Texas. Mr. Smith in second place, looking to challenge the V-Carb. In behind, we've got not Brownie, CB, looking to try and muscle his way through on the McLaren driver. Edward and Bobby still scrapping away, but instead of for the lead, it's for 7th place. After that contact, Kiki gets through on Luke and up into 10th. Now we'll have to try and overtake F1 Mikey Boy, and Mikey is going to be like a brick wall here for Kiki on the hard compound tyres. You would imagine this is somewhat the phase where the hards will be better, as round there goes Ollie. The V-Carb driver all out of shape and is into the gravel. Was in the battle for the lead, but now the leaders will need a telescope to see the V-Carb driver, as we have got a virtual safety car deployed in this race. Butcher has also had a moment out of turn 1. And the Red Bull in 18th place. So we can breathe a little bit then, ladies and gentlemen. What an opening phase of the Texan Grand Prix this is. Rylan in the lead. It is Mr. Smith in second. Not Brownie in third. We'll quickly take a look at the penalties, and there's already a fair amount of penalties being accrued in this race. Absolutely insane stuff in the early going, as Brody gets the drive-through for speeding under the WRC, and we can get racing once again here in Texas. It's Rylan that leads, Mr. Smith in second place, and the Audi driver all over the back of the V-Carb as Bobby and Edward continue doing battle. Edward with a 3-second time penalty. Is Edward going to try the move into turn 1? Yes, he is. The Alpine driver diving down the inside line. Bobby looks for the switchback. These two now wheel to wheel again. They've already had contact about 50 times in this race. We're only on lap 9. No contact at this moment, and Bobby gets through then into 6th place. In the fight for the lead, Rylan is still the man out in front and looks to be defending from Mr. Smith very, very well. Ollie, who had that spin just before the VSC came out, has now picked up a 3-second time penalty as Greco Theo gets through on Jack Plays and up into 13th place. But out in front then, Rylan seems to be soaking up the pressure from the Audi driver, as Mr. Smith is in the slipstream. But Rylan doing everything correctly in this Grand Prix. Mr. Smith not too aggressive in his attack either, as Ryan De Star is the latest driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Butcher not very happy with Bobby's racing style, as Edward, I believe, won't be happy either. There was a bit of contact there between the Alpine and the Williams, and Edward all out of shape. Kiki now picks up a 3-second time penalty. We saw him really getting shaky on the rear end, and still in 9th place. There's a little bit of a fight going on here between CB and Humboldt in the battle for 4th. We start lap 10 then. 18 laps remain here in Texas, and Mr. Smith is looking for the lead here. Up the hill towards the inside, the Audi driver goes for the move then, but runs it in very, very deep. Rylan on the switchback. We said he's soaking up the pressure very, very well, and Rylan is doing exactly that, remains in the lead here in Texas. What a scrap we are having in the early going. I mean, I say it's the early going. We're nearing the halfway point now, but this has been an incredible race so far between really all the drivers as Alcada gets through on Ryan DeStar and up into 15th place. Incredible stuff from the entire grid as Bobby now gets through on Humboldt and up into 5th, but runs it in way too deep and is going to have to sit behind the McLaren for at least a little bit longer, as Mr. Smith is now going for the lead then. Is he going to dive it down the inside? Yes, he is. Is Rylan going to be able to fight this? Is going to be forced to the outside line. Might run off the road. Manages to keep it on track. And when he comes back towards the inside line, he is still leading. But Mr. Smith really close to the V-Carbon, diving down the inside, taking the lead away. But for how much longer as Rylan looks for the switchback? He doesn't get the grip. And Mr. Smith, after sitting behind the V-Carb, should I say, for so long, finally takes the lead here in Texas, but is now diving into the pit lane. Bobby Lyons also into the pit lane as well, so Rylan stays out and leads once more then. Not Brownie in second, CB runs in third. Humboldt is fourth with QDR Edward in fifth, but Edward down the inside on the McLaren driver. The McLaren looking for the switchback, but it's not going to work for him. The Alpine up into fourth place then. And Edward, who was battling for the lead of this race, is looking to try and get himself back into contention. Kiki currently runs in 7th place. Has not had the greatest race, was scrapping away for the lead. But we saw the car looking so unstable even in those fights. And Kiki struggling even more as the tyres begin to wear. As Edward is now looking for the move on CB. That is our closest battle on track at the minute. McLaren in 2nd place. He's a little bit further up the road, but it's Alpine versus Aston Martin, and Edward is going towards the inside. CB sees it coming and is going to try and get the switcheroo, but unfortunately for him, it isn't going to work. And Edward now through then into 3rd place. The Alpine driver feeling a little bit hard done by after the contact that sent him round, and now looking to try and get himself back involved in the lead fight. F1 Mikey Boy becomes the latest driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty. As Rylan gonna come into the pits then, not Brownie into the pits. Edward comes in as well. CB comes in. Humboldt, one of the only men to stay out. Mikey, who started on the hard compound tyres, stays out and takes 2nd place and will be chasing down Humboldt for the Grand Prix lead. The Red Bull driver had a bit of contact down at turn 1 and was spun round, but has recovered incredibly well as they all get sorted as they come out the pit lane then. It's Mr. Smith that will be leading this race. Bobby Lyons right behind him in 2nd. Rylan will be in a net 3rd place. And the positions all changing then, but it looks like Bobby has got himself back into the lead fight as he now overtakes Mr. Smith for the net lead of the Grand Prix. Bobby, who has had a few messages in the chat, for some of his aggressive moves, now in the net lead of this Grand Prix. We'll look back at the tyre situation and you can see Bobby is the net leader when the top 3 come into the pit lane. And I don't think many people are going to be happy with that. The Williams driver, shades of 2018 Max Verstappen. Mikey is gaining then on Humboldt. You would expect this. 11 lap old mediums versus 11 lap old hards. You would always expect the hards to be quicker at this phase of the Grand Prix, as we've got yellow flags flying. That's for one of the Ferraris. I believe that's Brody. As Humboldt is going to dive into the pit lane then, and that will leave F1 Mikey Boy to lead the Texan Grand Prix. Luke will run in second, but no, he's got a puncture on the front left and is going to go into the pit wall here. Is the Aston Martin driver, and is going to have to complete a whole lap with a punctured front left tyre. What are we seeing here in Texas? He's got front wing damage, and that front left tyre is going to be causing him many, many problems as into turn 1 we go. Mikey leads, it's Bobby in second, and this is Luke's race completely ruined. You can see the tyre has completely failed on him. And Luke M, this is going to be a race that he definitely wants to forget. As through the S's we go, you can see how slow he's going as Ollie takes off the road to avoid the Aston Martin. And this is really going to be Luke's race over. You can see the car leaning on that left front as the pressure all getting away from that medium compound tyre. And Luke will realistically fall down to the back of the grid here as off the road he goes once more. Back to our fight at the front. It's Mikey that is leading this race. Bobby in second. Mr. Smith in third. Bobby getting out of the overtake boost here of Mr. Smith and looking to try and get away in the lead. Mikey stays out to complete lap 14 then. Bobby running in second place. It's Mr. Smith in third. Mr. Smith not with the overtake boost anymore. It's Rylan who runs in fourth. Edward is in fifth place. CB sixth with Not Brownie in seventh. Kiki runs in eighth then, as we've got more yellow flags, and I believe that is still for Luke, who is trying to drag this car back to the pit lane, as we've now got a VSC in this race. And I wonder if that is because Luke is driving around with this punctured left front. And that is a bit of a danger to everyone else on track. We've also got Brody with some big damage. That could also be a reason why we have got the virtual safety car deployed, as Luke will finally drag that car back to the pit lane then. Luke saying he only had 75% wear and got a puncture. Definitely not what you would expect for the Aston Martin. But he finally then comes into the pit lane and will get that car serviced. Will be emerging in, I believe, 18th place. See, Aston Martin will get it turned in to his pit box. You can see the tyre locking up as they try and bolt it off. Hard compound tyres and a new front wing for Luke, as Rylan now gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. Edward immediately overtakes him as well, as we've got a yellow flag, and that is for Ryan de Start, who is round out of turn 2. The Audi driver continues on in this race. Doesn't look like there's any damage for him, as Rylan comes in to serve that drive-through penalty. So Edward continues on then in fourth, as we've hit 10,000 likes now in the TikTok live. Thank you very much to everyone for liking away. QZRT, I know your normal like goal is 20k. I wonder if we can hit that in this early morning stream. It's about 11 AM where I'm from here in the UK. But still, many people awake and enjoying the racing action. Mr. Smith still trying to keep tabs to Bobby. Edward trying to gain on this fight as well. It's still Mikey that leads here in Texas, but has not pitted so far in this race. Mikey looking to get himself onto the medium tyres and then come back at the likes of Bobby, Mr. Smith, Edward, CB, Not Brownie, Kiki, humbled, and Ollie. I would imagine when he comes out the pit lane, he will be in about 10th or 11th place. So Mikey will have a lot of ground to try and cover. And this is the issue with starting on the hards, is you need to leave yourself enough race time to be able to catch the cars that you want to catch. But you also need to leave yourself not too many laps, otherwise the mediums will die out. And then you've really got no chance. But you don't want to stay out too long, because you will lose too much time. So it is a big gamble, and definitely not the easiest decision to make of when you come into pit. But Mikey, one of the most experienced drivers in WRC, I'm sure will know exactly when his target is to come into the pit lane. The Red Bull pit wall would have given him a target, and I'm sure he will get to that target lap. Bobby, 6.5 seconds behind him. Mr. Smith following the Williams, but having to use a lot more battery just to stick with the Williams car. And that is only going to be aiding Bobby if it ever comes to a battle, because Bobby will have the excess battery. And we know that F1 26 is so much based around battery power. And you can see Mr. Smith running out of battery. Bobby with his battery half full. It's the gap now between Mikey and Bobby, 5.5 seconds. And it will be falling with every passing meter of this Texan Grand Prix circuit. Does Mikey decide to come in this lap by the MFD? I would say no. There is no indicator that Mikey will be coming into the pit lane on this occasion. KHR in the chat saying, JP, rate my new profile picture. Looks good, KHR. Good stuff, man. Big fan of that. F1 Mikey boy stays out in the lead then. We're on lap 17 of 28 here in Texas. Mikey is leading, having not pitted in this Grand Prix. It's Bobby Lyons that runs in second. Mr. Smith still in behind the Williams driver in the overtake boost. KHR saying he left UFRT. And you don't seem happy about that, KHR. Misa saying, I believe in Mr. Smith. Denzel saying he goes to lap 20 and then pits for the soft compound tyres. That could be a choice for F1 Mikey boy, although tyre degradation is a big thing around here. A lot of people saying that Mikey needs to pit soon. It's showing up on his MFD that he is boxing this lap. The question is that true? Is he coming into the pit lane, as we've got a car very deep off the road there? That's one of the Audis. I'm going to assume that is Ryan to start, who completely missed the braking zone and was off the road. Mikey then, is this the pit lap? Towards the pit lane we go with Mikey. This will give him 10 laps. And we assume the medium compound tyres to try and fight back. No, Mikey staying out for another lap then. And is Mikey maybe trying to get onto the soft compound tyres at the end? We've got Harry in the chat saying, morning JP, watching at work. Good morning, Harry. Welcome in, my friend. Good to have you in here. Mikey, to be honest, maybe waiting for a safety car in this race, as Alcada is now the second driver to suffer a puncture in this race. We saw Luke M have one in the first stint. Alcada, 16 laps on the mediums, and he is the second driver to suffer a puncture in the Texan Grand Prix. What is going on to the medium compound Pirellis in this race? Alcada currently in 17th, will fall to 18th as Brody is now gaining on him. It's the gap out in front, 1.2 seconds. And I do wonder if Mikey is maybe waiting and hoping for a VSC or a full safety car. He might get one with the puncture from the Williams driver in the first sector, as Brody does go through into 17th place. We're on board with the Williams of Bobby, who is now within the overtake boost of Mikey. Mr. Smith has fallen out of the overtake boost of Bobby, as Humboldt picks up a 3-second time penalty. Round the penultimate corner we come. And Mikey isn't going to wait for that safety car. Doesn't believe it's going to come. And dives into the pit lane then. So it's Bobby Lyons that leads the Texan Grand Prix then. Mr. Smith in second place. It will be QDR Edward in third. CB running in fourth place. Kiki takes fifth. Not Brownie in sixth. Humboldt in seventh. Mikey just coming out the pit lane now then. And may be able to sneak out in eighth place. Ollie gaining towards turn one. Mikey with the inside line though. The V-Carb driver looking for the switchback. But Mikey emerges in eighth place on fresh medium tyres. Has 7 seconds of clean air to gain to the McLaren of Humboldt. Mikey may not be going for the win today, but definitely could get very good points in this Grand Prix. Ollie Southall saying, why would you even do 16 laps on mediums when it's 28 laps long? That is a very good point from Ollie in the chat. We're on lap 19 of 28 then. It's Bobby Lyons that leads here in Texas. The Williams driver getting quite accustomed to WRC and definitely known as a man that will do anything to take a position. Very, very aggressive driving. But ultimately, it is going to be the aggressive driving that is going to win the race here today. KHR saying, do you know how Ollie is in ninth? Ollie had a spin in the opening stint of this Grand Prix. And that's why he finds himself in ninth place. The gap between Mikey and Humboldt coming down at more than a second a lap. So Mikey definitely closing in on the top 7. It's Bobby that leads here in Texas. We've got 8 laps to go in this race. The Williams driver doing everything in his power to take this win home. We will look to the penalty screen quickly. You can see the penalties on the left-hand side of your screen. KHR saying, yeah, isn't Ollie pretty fast? I believe he is relatively quick. I don't believe has won a race yet in WRC, but is definitely always towards the top 5, top 6. Arda saying, what about Jack Plays? I don't believe Jack Plays has had any sort of incident. Is currently running in 11th. Just getting past one of the back markers there. Closest battle on track at the minute is Kiki versus CB. This is the fight for 5th, but Kiki with a time penalty. Time penalty totaling 3 seconds as Bobby Lyons now gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Doesn't look like that's going to change anything at this phase of the race. There's Mr. Smith and Edward behind him, also with 3-second penalties. CB under pressure from Kiki. Doesn't look like the Aston Martin has the pace as Mikey sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 3.5 seconds behind Humboldt, who now has 18 seconds in penalties. And F1 Mikey boy looking to try and salvage something from this Grand Prix. Was spun round at turn 1. But even then, that wasn't where the issue started. Started on the hard compound tyres. The only man on the hards got hit on the formation lap, which gave him incredibly cold tyres for the start. Then got spun round at turn 1. As Alcada comes into the pit lane to retire from the session after his dismal Texan Grand Prix. The two McLarens scrapping away. This is Humboldt versus Not Brownie for 6th and 7th place here. Kiki trying to battle away with CB as well. Rylan gets through on Ollie, who is weaving away The two V-carbs battling away as well. Solar saying he thinks Edward is going to win this race. Edward now right behind Mr. Smith in the overtake boost as well. But the issue for Edward is that Bobby Lyons is still the man leading this race. And Bobby Lyons is still gaining away from Mr. Smith. So the Alpine driver is still within a shout of winning this race as Kiki down the inside towards turn one we go. Cadillac versus Aston. This move has been brewing for Kiki for the last few laps now. And Kiki does get through then into 4th place. CB now running in 5th. And the Aston Martin doesn't have a penalty. So we'll be taking the position from Kiki anyway when we get to the checkered flag. If he can stay within 3 seconds of the Cadillac driver. Edward still gaining on Mr. Smith then. As towards the back straight we go and down the back straight we go. Is Edward close enough to try and take the position? He is going to look towards the inside line. It's a late move by Edward, who takes 2nd place then. And the Alpine driver, if he has got any pace in those hard compound tyres and wants to try and win this Grand Prix, he's got 6 laps to chase after Bobby. He's got the clean air. Solar saying Edward will pass Smith and go after Bobby. Watch. Well, he's just done the first part of that message. Let's see if he can gain on him as CB manages to get through on Kiki and back up into 5th place. Kiki, though, with the inside line, takes the position back again as Crypt retires from the race and the safety car is deployed. And I'll tell you who this benefits. CB, who does not have a penalty in this race thus far. The safety car deployed in the late dying embers of this Texan Grand Prix. And this is going to massively favour the Aston Martin driver. I'd imagine we'll have everyone come into the pit lane for soft compound tyres. CB in for mediums. What is CB doing? Taking the medium compound tyres. He'll need to stay within 3 seconds of the lead. And I don't think the medium compound tyres are the way to do that. We've just hit 20,000 likes on the TikTok live. Thank you very much to everyone for liking here this morning. But has CB maybe just thrown away his chance at victory? Needs to stay within 3 seconds of Bobby, Edward and Mr. Smith. But takes the mediums rather than the softs. Top Fox has stayed out on the hard compound tyres, as has Greco Theo. Butcher comes into the pit lane. Luke, I would imagine we will see in the pit lane. We realistically should see everyone into the pit lane. As the front runners now come towards the pit lane entry. And then CB saying he forgot to change. And could that be the moment that costs him victory? Bobby dives into the pit lane. Edward dives into the pit lane, as does Mr. Smith. And I can assure you this will be for soft compound tyres. The Williams into the pit box for hard compound tyres. What are the Williams pit crew thinking? We've got 4 laps to go to the end of this race. Nearly everyone on soft compound tyres. We're talking about CB throwing away victory by going on to the mediums. Bobby Lyons, our race leader, with 4 laps to go on hard compound tyres. What am I seeing in this race? Solar saying he thinks the mediums will get him enough to the end. Well, hard compound tyres surely aren't going to win this race. Bobby Lyons will lead the Texan Grand Prix. I am honestly stunned with what I am seeing here tonight. Bobby Lyons, there's going to be maybe 3 laps of racing. And he is elected for the hard compound tyres. Penalties you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. What is going on? Peckerby saying Bobby outplayed them all. And those tyres are going to take a while to warm up as well for Bobby. Lily saying it's morning, not night. My apologies. I'm so used to saying that it is nighttime. I'm definitely not used to commentating 10 in the morning here in the UK. Hi-Fi saying, gotta be a mistake to go to the hards. It has to be. I don't see any way that Bobby wins this on hard compound tyres. The safety car, I would imagine, will be in next lap. So that will be us moving on to lap 27, which will give us 2 laps of racing. Hi-Fi saying, I think mediums could be good if the safety car comes in now. The issue is, we've got a lot of people still to catch up to the pack. And that is why I don't think it will be in yet. Lily saying, is it my Wi-Fi or is the stream bugging a little? From my end, it doesn't look like it's bugging at all. From the preview on the Streamlabs and from the TikTok live that I'm watching, it doesn't look buggy to me. Do let me know what's going on though, what sort of bugs we are having. Hi-Fi saying no bugs here. Solar saying the longer the safety car stays out, the better for CB. It gives less time for the front runners to escape. Exactly that. The longer this safety car is out, the better it will be for CB. Moving the Fox saying it's TikTok. It's their end. Happens from time to time. Ryan Siege asking, how is this the World Rally Championship? It's not. Just because we're called WRC doesn't mean we're the World Rally Championship. We're the World Racing League. Or the World Racing Championship, should I say. As we'll go on board with Bobby then. The light's still on the safety car here. We've still got drivers to catch up. CB has 2 warnings. The safety car will stay out then. It should be in next lap. So we will have 2 laps of racing to decide the Texan Grand Prix. CB, with the world on his shoulders, waited a while for his first win, is now a 2-time Grand Prix winner and is looking to make that 3. Humbled and Mikey Boy having a bit of a scrap under the safety car. Someone saying it feels like 2021 Abu Dhabi. Well, 2021 Abu Dhabi minus the controversy, shall we say. As we've got Ahmed Saka, one of the Red Bulls and one of the Aston Martins. That's Luke M and Wood Butcher, who still need to catch up to the safety car train. Toby Hawkins asking, how does the whole grid have penalties? if you're saying that as a bad thing, I would like to see you try and race 21 other drivers around the circuit of the Americas for 28 laps, very closely contested, and not get a penalty. Put it that way. That's why everyone has penalties. LM saying we can't catch up. The Merc is so slow. Ahmed Saka, I believe, is in AI mode. They will catch up by the end of this lap, though. MCL saying, who's your money on, JP, or are you staying impartial? I mean, I'm staying impartial, but I can make a prediction. And I would have to say CB. He's the only driver besides Ahmed Saka to not have a penalty. We're only going to have 2 laps. Unless there is some sort of massive mistake or he picks up a penalty, CB surely is going to win this race. But that is a lot of pressure on him. Can he handle it? That's the question. Hi-Fi saying if I was CB, I would be bricking it. As would I, to be completely honest. The world on your shoulders, yet the world in the palm of your hands. When does Bobby decide to get this race underway once again then? Bud Mylander is in the pit lane. We can go racing at any time. Needs a good restart because he's on the hard compound tyres. Those tyres will be absolutely freezing. And you can see he does not want to restart this race as he gets all out of shape then. And we begin the penultimate lap here in Texas. Edward sets after the Williams. Kiki in third. CB already under pressure from Not Brownie. Cannot afford contact here. Cannot afford another warning as CB stays in 4th place then. Bobby Lyons still leading on the hard compound tyres as Brownie does get through then on CB, and CB realistically cannot fight these people too hard that are on the soft compound tyres. Just needs to stay within 3 seconds of the lead. But the gap already is 2 seconds to the leader. And we're only through the first sector on this lap as F1 Mikey Boy now looks to get involved with the Aston Martin. Round the outside line, it's Bobby that still leads this race. But look at Edward then as he is gaining on Bobby Lyons towards the hairpin we go. Is there going to be a late move for Edward? Yes, it is. Who darts down the inside but runs off the track. And when he comes back on, Bobby's retaken the lead. Kiki also involved in the fight as well. CB fighting away with F1 Mikey Boy. Cannot afford any contact. Cannot afford any track limit warnings. This race is going to go down then to the final lap. It's Bobby versus Edward in the net. I say in the net lead, in the lead on track. But we move on then to the final lap of what has been an incredible Texan Grand Prix. It's Bobby Lyons that is somehow still in the lead on the hard compound tyres. Edward running in second with Kiki in third. But Edward is looking very racy and trying to take the position. CB 1.9 seconds off of the lead. Cannot lose more than a second. Is in the dirty air, whereas Bobby is not. But Bobby on the hard compound tyres. We will look at the penalty screen as well so you can see the penalties for everyone. CB will be finishing ahead of Not Brownie and Kiki, but the gap now 2.2 seconds as CB gets back past Mikey. But will that have cost him time making that overtake? It definitely cost him a little bit on the exit. 2.3 seconds as we make our way towards the hairpin. Edward trying to pressure Bobby, and this is going to be costing the leader time as once again Bobby looks for the switchback and gets it, but Edward scrapping away, trying to take the position on track. Because if CB doesn't win this on penalties, whoever's in the lead is going to win the race. As Kiki down the inside, there's contact between them. And surely that seals victory for CB in the Aston Martin. It has been an incredible Texan Grand Prix. And they are all scrapping away. It's down the inside. Bobby Lyons takes the 2 leaders out. And that's secured it for CB then. As round the final corner we go, CB wins the Texan Grand Prix. Clean is quick. Smooth is fast. And the Aston Martin driver has proven that today. Edward finishes in second. F1 Mikey Boy gets the podium position. Rylan finishes in fourth with Bobby in fifth place. Kiki finishes in sixth. That got absolutely crazy. In the penultimate corner, Bobby Lyons had enough and took the three leaders out. And that ultimately gifted the win to CB, who was already on for it anyway. But that is your Texan Grand Prix then, ladies and gentlemen. CB wins the Texan Grand Prix. Edward finishes second with Mikey Boy in third. It's Rylan who finishes in fourth. Bobby Lyons fifth after those late race antics. Kiki sixth with Brownie in seventh. Mr. Smith finishes eighth with Ollie in ninth. Top Fox is 10th. Luke M in 11th with Butcher in 12th place. Jack Plays finishes 13th. Humbled is 14th. Greco Theo 15th with Stu and Brody a lap down. Ahmed Saka 2 laps down with Crypt, Alcada and Ryan DeStar failing to reach the flag. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for getting up early with me this morning to watch this race. My name's been Jack. I've been your commentator. I will be back with you at 2 p.m, then at 4 p.m, then at 8 p.m, then at 10 p.m. for some more WRC action. So make sure you tune in. We've got a new commentator at 12. His name is Garrison. Make sure you go and show him some love. And we will see you when we see you. Until then, take care and ta-da.